Hi, my name is Margaret and welcome to the artsy corner of the internet. Y'all, it is sweaty season. I'm just sweaty all the time now. I'm just very excited today because we're finally finishing out the Lili's Film series, and today we're doing Lili's Film, the movie. I actually think I've seen clips of this, but you know, this came out like over a year ago, so anyway, yeah, let's just dive right into it because I'm very excited. Ooh, sketchy car, sketchy car. I love this like film. It's getting very like sorry, before it starts. It's getting what like an old-timey 1950s like black and white movie murder mystery ambiance, and I like it. Okay, sorry. Ooh. Bedazzled gas masks. I love the atmosphere already that this is setting up. That synchronization of so good. Oh. Oh. Her textures are crazy. Yeah. She's hitting things so hard, yet it's so groovy. Groovy, man, groovy. Her lines are impeccable. Oh, I love the keeping of the tempo with the hips. It is crazy. Oh, she cheating. Is she part of the mafia? I'm gonna let the credits play because they deserve all the credit. That was crazy. Wow. I understand why they call it the movie now. Like the atmosphere, the story, the plot that they are like able to convey with such simple little scenes. Like the scenes that weren't dance centric probably took up like tops 10 seconds, and yet they were able to convey this interesting atmosphere and dynamic, but yet still allowing the dance to speak for itself. That was so impressive. Like so much conveyed in 3 minutes and 12 seconds. I think sometimes, especially I'm in the contemporary dance concert realm, and there is just like this fascination with creating ridiculously long pieces where it's like a 30-minute piece of like somebody like walking into a wall. Actually, I've never seen that, but I'm sure it exists somewhere. More talking like postmodern dance. A lot of times they're very long, drawn out performances. To have an entire story with so much impressive dancing condensed into a 3-minute video, it's like you just get so much from such a small little morsel of food. Is that a word? But yeah, there's so much like nutrients in a piece. It's like taking vitamins. Although this isn't really like vitamins because this was fun and like tasted good. Vitamins, I don't think that's how you usually use the phrase taking vitamins. I honestly think that like establishing shots are very important, and automatically like you get so much just from how this is kind of laid out. And also this kind of grid that they're shooting through comes up later, so it's almost like in that like first 10 seconds you're already so immersed in like the world that they're creating that the rest of it just is, it makes so much sense. And really like, yes, you could have had this without that intro sequence, but the intro sequence just like pulls you in and makes you feel like you're already a part of this world. Again, so much conveyed by just establishing shots as well. And her eyes and emotion and how much she can convey without doing anything really is crazy. The opening of the fan right on the first little, it's a perfect way to like start like the dancing and the song, because it just, there's something so satisfying about it that you're instantly like, okay, I'm focused now, and like nothing else is gonna take my attention away from this. Right there in just that first little section of just hand movements, like we can't even see below here, and automatically I'm so drawn in. And I think one of the reasons is that there's so many textures that she's using. There's this like ha, and then there's like the very smooth, and then there's the really quick sharp, and then there's, you know, like that. There's so many different little like textures and sensations that she is displaying in so few movements. Again, there's also creating so much intrigue just by the way that this is shot, between, we've seen this grid in the intro, and then we see Lisa in front of it, and then we see people being thrown against it, and then now we see her in front with the dancers in the background, almost seeing like they're like a shadow of her, and she's clearly the focus. She's literally on a pedestal right now, but it just feels like there's so much history already within 1 minute of this. It's so fluid and big and like groovy, and yet it's still sharp and fast. And even the song, it's kind of like there's nothing like urgent necessarily about it, but the intensity in the actual movements makes me feel like there's like urgency behind it, which is a fun juxtaposition between the chillness of the song and urgency of the dance, even though, you know, it's still kind of like there's sort of like a relaxedness about it. I don't know. It's like the mafia boss next door. There's something very like casual about it, but also something like very like intimidating about it. It's such a smooth transition down, and there's so much like the amount of moves that she's doing, there's a lot of them, but she makes it just feel like she's just kind of bobbing, you know. And I think I've definitely said that before about Lisa, is that it's just, it doesn't feel like she's doing anything, but yet she's doing so much. And it's just one of the things that it makes her feel so impressive. I mean, obviously she is impressive. She's doing all these impressive things and just kind of like shrugging it off like, whatever. And so like as an audience member, you're like, that's even cooler, because she like doesn't even think it's a big deal. But I also really like that those big sweeping movements to get down to the ground, and then just the head, it's like big floopy swoopy moves, and then just like a little groove at the bottom. Again, contrast. We love contrast here. I do have to say also that I think the big oversized jacket is also a really nice element to add to that section of the dance, because it kind of trails after her. And so it's like what's this? Isn't there like a sea creature that like glows, and like when it moves it like leaves a trail behind it? Am I making this up? I don't know. I feel like I've heard that somewhere. Or like in like a cartoon, you know, like when like somebody like moves really fast and then you see like the little like version of them left behind. That's kind of like what it feels like, because the coat is like trailing after her, leaving like that like little transparent version of her. Why am I like Wile E. Coyote? Same thing with her hair and her big long ponytail too. It kind of like completes these lines that she's making by like continuing the energy past her body and like leaving a trail. I also like how sharp that contrast is. You know, she's in this big baggy coat and then it just cuts and it's like a completely different vibe. Yet they still keep this idea of kind of like obviously backup dancers, she's in the center, and then they still kind of have like this grate almost thing, you know, separating her from her dancers. So that is like that's kind of like the gate from earlier, the mesh screen thing from earlier. So it keeps us kind of in the same atmosphere, but it also does like a 180 on us. That part's crazy because she's like she's really using her whole range of motion. Like everything in her body is connected, which obviously like everybody's body is connected. If something in your body is not connected to the rest of your body, that's actually concerning. I would recommend you go see a doctor about that. But it's like you can see the movement travel from like her head down to her toes. And this choreography I think just shows it really nicely that like it's all traveling in succession. But also like her range of motion is crazy. She's like all the way down there touching her toes. She does like this kick where her leg comes up to her head. I love that section where they do the little hip bounces, because it's this big long like look at me, I'm so hot and sexy, and then they acknowledge the beat for that second, and her hip is keeping time while she's it's just really satisfying, that section. I think also in that section her head is so important for the continuation. She doesn't have any like tension in her neck, so her head can fully follow all of her movements. I don't know, we have such like a connection with other people's like faces and heads, because it's kind of how we like relate to people. So often we're looking at each other's eyes and mouth and faces, and so when the movement is continued up into this realm, it almost feels a little bit more personable. I love the way she relates with dancers around her. Like whenever Lisa is dancing with other dancers, I just feel like this like connection, and it's really nice to see that kind of human element of like personal connection and almost like energy sharing with each other. I think the same way that Lisa's really good at using eye contact with the camera to direct our focus and like kind of pull us in, she does the same thing with people around her, and it gives this air of just like extreme confidence, which is really hard to look away from. That was a deep lunge. That musicality there was also really crazy. I also just love her vibing out, and then like I'm pretty sure she's poisoning people and cheating in these little cutscenes. It's great. It gives you just enough to like know what's happening, but also to leave you completely confused and want more information. And even those walks at the end, like she doesn't ever let you think that she doesn't know what she's doing. Like she always knows what she is doing, and like obviously like she knows the choreography, she knows the counts, but also like emotionally she's just like, I know what I'm doing and I am a boss. Yeah. I will watch that again just to make myself happy some days, because that was incredible and amazing and I loved that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe. We talk about dance a lot here, and yeah, I hope to see you guys again very soon, and bye.